Hey, what's going on, guys? Butterbar here. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to talk about the trust and communication breakdown that we're having between the Call of Duty community and the Modern Warfare developers and how we can actually fix it. How can we go ahead from here and actually try to repair the relationship that we have from one another? Because if you guys have not jumped onto Twitter, if you haven't jumped onto Reddit, you can definitely see the frustration and animosity that is building up between the community and the developers just because the lack of communication between the two. Look, the Infinity Ward developers have asked for feedback from their game all the way back from the beta to now of, hey, what are things that we can actually improve to the game? And the players have been giving that. I will say this, I have had my frustration. I have tried to give my feedback to the developers, but honestly, every time that I've either seen it on Twitter or I see it on Reddit or even I give it myself, I feel like it definitely falls on deaf ears because I don't really get anything in return. I don't get my answers that I want to the feedback that I'm giving. And you can definitely tell anytime that any Infinity Ward or any of the developers tweet something, I mean, dude, holy crap, you can definitely look down the laundry list of comments that they leave on their, no matter if it is relevant to the conversation that they're posting on Twitter or not, you can just see the laundry list of skill-based matchmaking, minimap, ghosts, tanks, all the different types of things that players are wanting answers on. They're wanting to get their feedback, and they're wanting answers on what's going to be improving this game, what is going to improve the enjoyment that players are wanting out of this game, that players are just not getting. They're not getting that whatsoever, and there's a lack of communication between the developers to the player base on the feedback the player base is giving, and just no communication. There's just a lack of just transparency about what's going on at the studio. Now, to kind of look back at the trust and communication breakdown of that's currently going on right now, we kind of have to go back all the way to the development of this game, through the beta times, through the alpha, building up to the release of this game, and going through the gaming revolution and the great information that he posted about whoever his source is, the great information that he was leaking to him of the laundry list of different things to look forward to with this game. The build-up of this game was really good through the information that he was leaking. Now, there was some good information that was really funny. Anytime there was good information, anytime there was good press about build up to this game that the gaming revolution was leaking, there wasn't really any pushback from Infinity Ward. There wasn't any pushback of, hey, you know what, this is not true, we don't want to talk about this certain types of thing, blah, blah, blah. There wasn't any pushback whatsoever if it was good. If it was bad, though, if it was information that made Modern Warfare, made Infinity Ward look bad, similar to the cosmetic items and supply drops that were hinted a little bit in the beta, if you guys don't remember, then Infinity Ward would come to the defense and say, hey, you know what? No, you can't believe this leaker. You can't believe him. There's no such thing. Blah 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 blah. And later on, we came to find out that, yeah, supply drops were in it. Cosmetic items were going to be dealt differently than this battle pass. And all of a sudden, just before this game released, certain things were changed. And again, this was a gaming revolution letting us know that certain things are changing because his source is letting him know. And you can definitely tell that. If you guys go back to the beta and you guys remember, I think it was, I believe, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember. I think it was Nero that actually released information of, hey, you know what, I saw at the after action report, bam, supply drop is showing up. What the hell is going on? Why are supply drops making a return, even though this is one thing that players do not like? And again, Infinity were saying, no, supply drops are not in it, even though they are in the beta. So again, there was bad press. However, things started changing with this game, even till like a couple of weeks before it released. It's very funny on how the information the gaming revolution was releasing and the press that the game was getting that was bad in certain cosmetic in the cosmetic way was just very funny. But again, that lack of transparency, that lack of communication during that time of saying, hey, you know what, this is what our system is going to look like, this is where the cosmetic items, this is how it's going to be fitting in. There was no conversation whatsoever. It was just the gaming revolution, his source, and the information they were posting out. There was no details whatsoever pushed about Infinity Ward. And again, just because that lack of communication, just because there was no transparency between the beta, the alpha, and the game's full release, and the information that was getting pushed out by the source, the gaming revolution source, there was some mistrust. There was mistrust building with this game in the community and the developers because there was just no communication whatsoever. There was no talk in between that time of saying, this is our vision, this is what's going to be looking like, and here it is what is going to be the main focus of the game. There was nothing like that, and especially too with the way that cosmetic items were going. Again, there was no transparency on how the system was going to be going on until later on by the game's development we found out about the battle pass. Now, game gets pushed out. We certainly find out that the campaign is really good. That was just from the game experience. Everyone was having a fun time. multiplayer has its moments, has its some fun time moments, has some frustrating moments. We'll kind of jump back into the frustration that players are giving feedback on with the multiplayer. But first, I want to go over to Spec Ops, because Spec Ops was, again, it was offered as something that was similar to Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, where we were expecting that there was a lot of content already in Spec Ops with classic missions, these operations they were talking about. We were expecting a lot. However, when Spec Ops was released with this game, Spec Ops was missing quite a bit. And also, too, the feedback that we're given, like, look, why is there only one classic mission? There's 4 operations, but they're hard as shit. Has anybody ever played this? Whatever. It's funny to know the feedback that was given about Spec Ops, of just the frustration and the lack of enjoyment that people were having in Spec Ops, which is one of those things that was, again, a tall tale, because people are giving their feedback. There's this lack of communication, again, between the developers and the player base, because people are saying, hey, these type of improvements, these things would actually fix Spec Ops to where people would actually enjoy their time in Spec Ops. It would be an enjoyable time to actually jump from campaign, jump from the multiplayer, have a fun co-op experience in Spec Ops. But again, that's not the case. There has been barely any changes whatsoever to Spec Ops, where it's still a frustrating game mode that, again, players are still giving their feedback on. They are still telling Infinity Ward, hey, this is what I'm not having a fun experience in this game. Please fix it. And again, no fixes have been coming. Again, there's just a lack of communication with just Spec Ops alone. With, yeah, they're adding in new content, they're adding in new operations, new classic missions. But again, if you guys have not jumped into operations, if you've not jumped into classic missions, dude, they are still hard as hell. If there's any point in time that this was ever supposed to be played with randoms, I don't think that was supposed to be the case. I think this was supposed to be a game mode that you found a team, there was good communication, and that's how the way that you're supposed to play Spec Ops. But again, going back to the other Call of Duty games, it wasn't the case. It was just really fun missions that you get to play, and there was different levels of difficulty that determined how your stars worked out. But again, that was another thing. Stars were missing. The rank, the way that you actually earn rewards, the ranking, beating times, and stuff like that. Again, a lot of stuff is lacking from Spec Ops that, again, players are giving the feedback on, but again, there's just no communication. There's literally no transparency whatsoever when it comes to players wanting Spec Ops to improve, and Infinity Ward just not talking whatsoever. So again, that's another thing that's just like, what in the world is going on? The shell that Spec Ops, got shipped in is just, it's insane that new content is being pushed into Spec Ops with a lot of the issues still not being addressed that players are pushing out and wanting feedback on. All right, let's talk about multiplayer. Multiplayer, dude, oh my god. Like I said, anytime you see an Infinity Ward tweet, either the developer, Infinity Ward itself, maybe even Activision, you see things like skill-based matchmaking, minimap, ghosts, tanks, all different types of things that players are wanting feedback on. Now, I did say that Swag did give an interview and some questions were asked, but I would say that some of the answers that were given were just such lackluster, from the UAV wanting that to be a reward and ghosts being overpowered and we'll just look into it. The minimap being one of those things that, yeah, we don't plan on changing, it's our vision, to skill-based matchmaking, we can't talk about skill-based matchmaking. Why? Why is that the case? Why were some of those answers just lacking in information? I don't know what kind of secrecy that Infinity Ward wants with their Modern Warfare game, but the secrecy is literally it's killing the enjoyment of the game. The lack of communication that players are wanting with the feedback they are giving is just not helping this game whatsoever. We'll go back to skill-based matchmaking. Again, I think everybody has realized it, and even with YouTubers kind of diving deep into it and figuring out that skill-based matchmaking is involved in this game. The lack of communication of figuring out, okay, what type of bracket am I in? Am I in, am I a top-tier, player because I get matched up against top-tier players? Am I low? There's no information whatsoever of figuring out where you fit at in the skill-based matchmaking. And again, with the answer that was given during the Swag interview of not talking about it, why can't you talk about it? Why is information being held back from the community, from just no transparency? Why? There's so many questions out there that just are not being answered, and I don't understand why that's the case. So looking at all the feedback that is given on literally a daily basis, whether that be skill-based, minimap, ghosts, different weapons, tanks, all these different types of things, of players giving feedback to the developers and wanting some type of communication, wanting some type of talk, because look, whether you're in a relationship or you're at work, trust and communication is key. If you don't have good communication, you're not going to have trust. Trust is a hard thing to build. Initially, you can build up trust, but once you lose trust in something, it is hard start to build back up. And one thing is communication. If you have good communication and you have good transparency between one another, that is going to improve the trust you have with one another. Right now, that is not the case. If Infinity Ward would just improve the communication they have with us as players, if they would just be transparent and be upfront, just be upfront, even if it's bad or good information, be upfront about it, I think that would improve a lot of different issues that the player base is having right now with the game. The fact that Infinity Ward is not wanting to be upfront and they're wanting to conceal a lot of things and not just talk to the community. And again, I don't know why that is the case. I don't know why that is the reason. It's just building that mistrust right now that the community has right now. Hopefully it gets built back up. Again, hopefully, again, I'm one of those guys that I want this game to be successful. I want this game to be fun. I want this series to continue. I want to see the more remakes of Modern Warfare, at least the storyline, because I really did think the campaign was good. But again, I'm not understanding why. Why is there just no communication? Is somebody just held back? Is there just somebody afraid of just talking to the community, afraid of answering some of the feedback questions? I'm not understanding what the issue is, and that is what's leading to the mistrust between the community and the developers. The community is saying that the developers don't want to have anything to do with the feedback they're giving them. So why trust anything? Why, with every update that comes to this game that doesn't address some of the issues that players are pushing out, players are just going to start losing hope that, maybe an update, maybe the next update will fix the game. Maybe the next update after that will fix the game. Maybe the next or the next or the next. It's just not the case whatsoever. And again, because we're not hearing any information from Infinity Ward, we don't have that open dialogue between Infinity Ward to the community, and they're just wanting to conceal a lot of things. I think it's just going to keep building up. I think the animosity, I think the frustration that players are having with this game is just going to continue, and I don't know if it'll go from here. I don't know if... I mean, hell, I think it's hysterical that people are like, I want them fired or whatever. I'm like, I know that's kind of extreme, but it's gotten to the point now where players are just frustrated and might not come back to the game. Look, and then one of the things is I want to offer this game. I want to advertise this game to players saying, hey, you know what? This is a good buy. This is a great buy. Play it, because the developers actually listen to the community. If we have an issue, they listen to us and they fix the game. They make it more enjoyable. That's just not the case right now. It is not the case, and it's just one of those things that I want to be proud. I want to be somebody that offers this game. I want to definitely commercial this game and offer it to people and make it a good buy. But it's just not the case right now, just because of lack of communication and that trust that we don't have with the developers. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about it? What do you think about the trust and communication breakdown between the developer and community? And where do you see it going ahead from here to fix it? So, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys all next time.